They call me Squirrel.
What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It is good to see you folks. Today I am dipping my toes into What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It's your boy, the Squirrel. Tonight I was recording a couple pieces, for the next couple days. And earlier today, Leslie had sent me an email saying I should check out this video here. This is why are British place names so hard to pronounce? I'm interested to see if I can get any of these. I think I'm going to get more than I would have had I not lived in the area that I live in. So I live in New England, as they call it. I live in Massachusetts, one of the New England states, and we have some similar town names. So I'm going to try. I'll probably pause this a lot and try to guess these. All right. I'm guessing this is Grimsby, but I'm probably wrong on that one because I can't think unless it's Grimsby. But anyways, let's get into this. I got two gentlemen here that are going to host the show, and they're going to walk me through this, and we're going to have some fun together. Why are British place names so hard to pronounce? We're about to find out. Here we go.
British place names can be tricky to pronounce.
Take this place. Looks simple. But what if we told you it was pronounced Grimis?
No,
We'd be lying. It's Grimsby.
But other places can be genuinely fiddly for foreigners.
And tourists who get it wrong risk being imprisoned or killed.
In today's programme, we're going to ask why British place names are so hard to pronounce.
Is there an and coming?
No, I'm done.
Welcome to Map Men.
We're the men.
And here's the map.
Map men, map men, map men.
So this is, I think, on the Jay Cooper YouTube page. I'll try to remember to put a link to his page in the comments below. I just want to start by saying, before these guys get going, I already like their comedy style. I just want to mention that.
There are difficult to pronounce place names all over the world.
California has Zizix, Slovenia has Ptuj, Greenland has...
Kekker Tarsuit Shot.
Even Welsh natives struggle with this one.
I was going to say, there it is. I was going to say that Welsh have this ridiculous one. Jan Ferry Gush. Yeah, no.
Tonight we can expect to see heavy showers spreading from the west into Wales.
But deliberately hard to pronounce names invented for promotional purposes like Llanfair, Pwllgwyn, Gwrgogera, Chwindrobr, Llantysilio, Gogogoch aside,
Show off.
British place names cause more trouble than most because they often look straightforward but contain nonsensical phonetic traps that are impossible to predict.
Try this one.
Go on, say it out loud, in your room or on your train.
Froome. And I only know this because I think it's Froome. Maybe hold on, maybe I'm wrong now. Maybe it's Froome. I think it's Froome. This was in another video. I learned this somewhere else because I was like, man, somebody was traveling there. I think it was one of those walking videos that I watch. I don't know. I think it's Froome.
Ha 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 ha! Wrong, it's not Frome.
F-R-O-M-E, it should be blitheringly obvious, is pronounced Froome.
But if you did say Frome, don't worry, you're in good company. Frome is officially the most mispronounced place name in Britain, and that's according to a proper survey.
Excuse me, could you mispronounce Froome for me?
Portsmouth.
That'll do. There's nothing more fun than laughing at tourists who don't know how to say something properly simply because they're from a different country and could never reasonably be expected to have predicted a local pronunciation that contradicts the basic rules of language.
So, we've created the perfect travel agent's itinerary for maximising tourist humiliation across the country.
Starting in Biaulio,
Bewley,
head over to Rampisham,
Ransom,
then down to Mousehole.
Mousehole,
Next,
Mousehole.
travel north up to Towcester,
Toaster,
then a quick jaunt to Gotham,
Gotham,
followed by a stop in Quernmore,
Quorma,
before finishing up in Alnwick.
Alnwick, which is near Newcastle.
Or, as the people from the city itself say, Newcastle.
When will they learn? As you can hear, no letter of the English alphabet is safe from being pronounced any of dozens of different ways.
Including not at all.
Thankfully, there are some general rules you can stick to, and
By the way, I wouldn't have gotten any of those except Newcastle.
because we're nice, we'll help the un-British amongst you through a couple of basics.
Cester is pronounced stir.
Leicester, Worcester, Gloucester.
W at the start.
We have, I actually live 3 towns away from Leicester, and Worcester is the next town. It's Leicester, then Worcester. If you travel right down Route 9, East Brookfield, Spencer, Leicester, Worcester. Gloucester, that's out by the ocean. Gloucester, it's where we go. Gloucester's on the sea, and you go there if you want to get on like a charter fishing boat, like deep sea fishing.
After the final syllable is silent.
Norwich, Berwick, Southwark.
ER is pronounced R.
Berkshire, Clerkenwell, Hertfordshire.
We have Berkshire, we have Norwich.
But before you get too reassured, for every rule in the English language there are always exceptions, such as the cester in,
Cirencester,
the W in,
Sandwich.
and the sound in,
Oh, this is disgusting. Oh, sorry, Berkhamsted.
which is in Hertfordshire.
The only way to be absolutely sure of pronouncing British place names correctly is to live here long enough to learn every single one of them, one at a time. Sorry.
So who were the complete anchors that invented these rules?
It's time for an English lesson.
To make an English language, you start with the base of Germanic Anglo-Saxon. Mix in a healthy dash of Old Norse, a huge dollop of Norman French, and just a barely detectable hint of Celtic. Trust me, it'll make all the difference. Stir it up for hundreds of years until the vowels really start to shift, and then English.
Excitingly, by looking at a map of Britain today, we can clearly see which invaders influenced our language where by plotting the origins of British place names. This marvellous, messy, multicoloured map shows which languages different British place names belong to and is a living history of our early settlers and subsequent invaders.
The oldest place names here are of Celtic origin. This is where you'll find all the place names with words like Tre, Loch, Bryn and Aber,
Such as Aberystwyth, meaning the mouth, Aber, of the River Istwyth.
which coincidentally is exactly where we find Aberystwyth today.
Celtic languages were once spoken all across the British Isles, but are now reduced to a small minority of mountain dwellers. And that's because low-lying Middle England Brits turned out to be more worse at resisting invading armies.
First up were the Romans, who brought in Britain's Latin influences. No, like boring Latin. Anywhere that ends in caster, cester, chester, or xeter was a Roman fort, from the Latin word castra, meaning Roman fort.
But the Romans didn't stay long, so although their naming
Makes sense.
system was long-lasting, the actual names they used weren't, which is perhaps unsurprising when we learn they used names like Castra Exploratorum and Belgic Oppidum.
Which was sensibly renamed Braintree.
Next, in light pink,
Have a Braintree and a new Braintree.
we have the biggest group, Germanic Anglo-Saxon.
Any place containing the words Ham, Hurst, Lee, Bury, Ford, Port, Mere, Stead, Tunstall, Wick, Witch, or Mere are of good old Anglo-Saxon origin and massively dominate southern England.
Like
Of course,
Buckingham.
Ham.
Or a low-lying area of land belonging to an Anglo-Saxon called Bucca.
Perhaps the most upheavaling thing to happen to Britain's place names was the Vikings, who swept in from Scandinavia in the 9th century, committing brutal crimes including rape, pillage, and the renaming of small to medium-sized settlements.
You can tell a place was named by the Vikings if it ends in Thwaite, Thorpe, Kirk, or B.
Such as our old friend Grimsby,
B.
named
Not
after
by.
an important Viking called Grim, famed for his infectious positive energy. Grimsby literally means Grim's village.
We're all familiar with these common settlement suffixes, but what's so striking is how clearly this map of Viking place names reflects the extent of the Viking invasions. You can practically see the exact location of the Danelaw dividing Viking and Anglo-Saxon England without needing to draw it on with thick red pen.
Following all these invasions, Britain was littered with place names that originated in different languages and accents, but the final thing that would make its place names truly unpronounceable was time.
Over hundreds of years, locals who were too busy to pronounce all the syllables in Cester reduced it to stir to save time. But they couldn't read or write, so the spelling stayed the same.
And while the English language has continued to gradually evolve, our place names haven't, resulting in a language landscape
All right, let me look at this real quick while we're here. We got a Shrewsbury, I got a Leominster, we got Worcester. Let's see other ones that are on here. We don't, no, I was gonna say Southwark, but we don't. Norwich, we have just the ones I can see right here. What is this? You want just what are you doing here? Anyway, so those are a lot of the similar ones, but I also wanted to was going to mention something right here, but then I saw the map and got all excited. And then, of course, at the top, there's Lulenfager. Whatever that means. I don't know. If I think of what I was going to say.
littered with phonetic booby traps.
But
Ooh,
what about
yes.
Froome? Which linguistic group is responsible for Britain's so-called hardest place name?
Unusually for a place name in England, Froome is from a surviving Celtic word, frama, which means fair, fine or brisk, probably describing the flow of its lovely river.
I was going to mention, I saw Reading on the map. Is it Reading or Reading? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. We actually pronounce it Reading. Like, it's spelt Reading, Reading, but we pronounce it Reading. Also, what I was going to say a second ago was they were showing like the different, how Worcester has changed through the years. It's funny because when we see like somebody would come from like one of the southern states, and I used to work at a diner and truckers would come in there and truck drivers would be like, "Where's Worcester?" But even out in Worcester, they're it's either Wista. People will say that's how you say it, or there's actually a place out there called Woosta Pizza, Woosta, Worcester pizza. So yeah, we all make fun of the way we say it too. It's okay.
It's not really surprising that the oldest language in these islands is the one that's drifted the furthest from pronounceability.
Froom.
So don't forget to join us for the next episode of Map Men.
Is that the end of your sentence?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, so the rest of the video is an advert. I'll put a link to their video in the description below, so you can go watch the advert if you want to. Anyhow, that was kind of interesting. It was kind of cool. It's amazing how many of those same town names and stuff we actually use over here in New England. I can't believe I remembered Froome. I second guessed myself for a minute there, but there was a bunch of them I didn't know. There's a bunch, but there's a handful of them that we do use though that I was pretty excited to at least know a couple of them. So, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's nice to know now why they're so hard to pronounce. Though, I like the explanation of as they were invaded by different colonies and cultures. That's what happened. It was that breakdown alone was kind of interesting to, now you can kind of look at the map and be like, oh, I see. So this is this section and this is this section and this is when the Anglos came in and things like that. So kind of interesting. Glad I checked that out. I learned a little bit from that. I always like learning when I do these videos. That's kind of the whole point of why I started in the first place. I want to learn a little bit about where I'm actually from and not my former country I used to be from. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you as soon as I can. Don't forget to check out the other side of Squirrel. Lots of music going on over there. Lots and lots of new stuff coming out. Also, in the description of this video, there is a link to my Amazon store. Right now, it's just got some men's products and things like that. I'm going to expand some stuff in there. But if you buy anything on Amazon at all, if you just click on that link and then you can navigate away from anything that I have on there, it's fine, and just search for what you want. As long as you start the search with my link, it's going to benefit the channel. I'm going to get a little tiny piece of the action from Amazon for bringing you over to Amazon. Doesn't change your shopping experience in any way, but if you want to help me out and help the channel out, it's a great way to do it. So appreciate that if you want to check that out. And yeah, that's all I got. I think I'm done. I'm not sure. I'm going to go book a ticket to Froome. Damn it, didn't catch it. You guys be good. I'll catch you soon. Scroll out.